In this weather update, we're forecasting severe weather tomorrow and on Saturday. All the details you need to know are coming right up. Alright, welcome back into another More Weather Forecast video. My name is Beckett Moore. I'm back in the weather room as it's been pretty quiet since we had that last run of severe weather, including the Rolling Fork tornado, the March 31st severe weather tornado outbreak, as well as the severe weather right before Easter. It's been pretty quiet, been pretty nice, spring-like, and even summer-like in some cases across the country. I do apologize in this video if I am a little stuffy or anything like that. My allergies are pretty bad, even though I'm not even allergic to pollen, but it gets to really everyone. So over these last few days, it's been pretty bad. But I'm still going to go outside, obviously, because I don't have a major pollen allergy, because it is very nice out. Where I live here in St. Louis, it is 78 degrees, going up to 80 degrees in some areas surrounding St. Louis. You can see across the country, besides really the Northwest. In the Northwest right now, we do have some snow into Montana, but into Seattle, down through Portland and San Francisco, from the 40s up into the 60s, so pretty cold, kind of, not the ideal conditions. But over here into the central, upper Midwest, southeast, south central, up into New England, it is incredibly nice out. 80s and 90s all the way up into Connecticut, as well as Nebraska and South Dakota. 80 degrees, like I just said, in St. Louis, 79 in Cincinnati, almost up to 90 degrees in New York, 88 degrees in places near Boston. 78 degrees here in Oklahoma City, and 78 to 83 degrees here in San Antonio. And there's not much cloud cover in this region either. The only area really where we're experiencing pretty inclement weather right now is this area down into the southeast. There's this area of circulation right here near Jackson and Meridian, Mississippi, and that is causing some severe storms today into Georgia. That pink area right there, that watch, that is a tornado watch, and right now we even do have warnings, severe thunderstorm warnings, and we did see tornado warnings here in Georgia right now. We are having some severe weather there, so if you're in Savannah, Georgia, south of Athens, Georgia, near Augusta, Georgia, just be ready for as those storms come through. And then down here into Florida as well, we have a severe thunderstorm watches as those storms are going off the eastern coast of Florida right now. And also, something I did want to mention in this video, if we go down here towards Fort Lauderdale, you can see we do have a flash flood. Let's see here. A flash flood warning, I think, is what that is. I might be wrong here, but some sort of flood warning here in Fort Lauderdale because we're seeing more rain there. And if you didn't know that, last night, we had significant flooding in Fort Lauderdale. We had like 22 inches of rain there, which is usually what they get, in a normal whole season. But they got it, in one day, in one night, because we just had a really rare supercell that just was training over that area, and it caused that training of rain. And we're seeing more rain over there right now. I'm pretty sure the airport had to close there. There was flooded cars, the whole 9 yards. Significant flooding there. So we're having more rain going over Fort Lauderdale. Again, just adding fuel to the fire. So just make sure to turn around, don't drown. And if you're seeing flooding, make sure you try to get to higher ground. I know it's harder in Fort Lauderdale, but if you can, try and get to higher ground. As flooding is really significant right now, and I'm just hoping that it really stops and calms down there, because it can cause significant damage to property, and also can cause deaths. A lot of people don't know this, but flooding is more significant than tornadoes, than tornadoes and all of that. Flooding causes the most deaths. Now let's go on to our forecast. We just looked at the current conditions. Let's go straight on to our forecast here for tomorrow and for Saturday. Tomorrow we do have a slight risk, 2 out of 5 on the severe weather scale, from southern Nebraska into parts of Kansas and into northern Oklahoma here. We don't have a tornado threat. The tornado threat is very low if any. We really don't have much of a tornado threat, but the biggest threat we're going to have to watch out for is large hail. That's going to be a possibility, as we do have a 15% significant area right there into parts of that slight risk, and we also do have a damaging wind threat, a high wind threat for mainly the Kansas part of that slight risk there as well. So not the biggest severe weather threat here, but it's still something to take into account if you live in areas included in this slight risk. So let's time this out with the HRRR model. This is what the radar could look like as we go into the future. So as we keep playing this out, by the time we go into around 6 p.m. here into 7 p.m., we'll see some storms start firing here into Nebraska and northern Kansas. By the time we go into around 8 o'clock here and into 9 o'clock all the way to 10 o'clock, we are going to see some stronger storms into Omaha here, northern Kansas. And for right now, the HRRR isn't really showing it, but down here into southern Kansas and northern Oklahoma, we're going to have to watch for storms there as well. But I think really in these areas right here, mainly these areas right here is where we're going to have to watch for storms. I don't know about that northern Oklahoma extent there, but some hail, some damaging winds, and possibly an isolated tornado. But the tornado threat is really not there, so we will likely not see any tornadoes. Overall, a very low severe weather threat. I wouldn't be surprised if they lowered it to a marginal risk, but of course I always trust the Storm Prediction Center, as they're a million times smarter than me. So make sure you're prepared for that. If you're in that slight risk for tomorrow, not extremely significant, but always gotta look at those outlooks, and you can never take your guard down. You always need to be on alert, even if it is only a slight risk of severe weather. Now, for Saturday, we do have a slight risk that extends from St. Louis down towards Little Rock and all the way down towards Shreveport, Louisiana there in northern Louisiana. This includes extreme western Kentucky, Tennessee, Mississippi, as well as Illinois here as well. And as you can see, parts of Missouri, Arkansas here, and Louisiana, as well as it's extreme eastern Texas. So this is a slight risk of severe weather. So as we look at the probability for severe weather, you can see we have a 15% chance through that slight risk, with a more significant area, hatched area, to the southwest of St. Louis. That does include Little Rock, Arkansas, as well as Shreveport, Louisiana. So that's where the Storm Prediction Center kind of has its most confidence, where there will be strong storms. Now, if we time this out with the NAM 3 kilometer, now the HRRR, in my opinion, is a little bit better at showing what the radar could look like as we go into the future. The NAM 3 kilometer usually isn't as accurate since it does go out longer, but since the NAM or the HRRR doesn't show much of Saturday for now, since it doesn't show many hours out, we are going to look at the NAM 3 kilometer to get an idea of what the storm setup could kind of look like, but not exactly what it looks like. So don't, put this into your mind like this is exactly what's going to happen. But going into here around 4 to 5 p.m., this is around 5 p.m., we're going to see storms firing into southwestern Missouri, over into Arkansas, Oklahoma, and northeastern Texas here. As we keep going here into 6 p.m., this is 6 p.m., and into 7 p.m., we're going to see these kind of clusters, or this broken line, whatever you want to call it, really clusters of storms and a broken line of storms develop into Arkansas and into Missouri. I think we're definitely going to have to watch out for very large hail, especially, and this was outlined by the Storm Prediction Center in the description of this slight risk, that as these storms fire off, there's going to be a chance for very large hail, very strong updrafts in those storms, so large hail. And I think damaging winds will be a possibility as well here, as we kind of see bow echo shapes within this line. And when you see a bow echo, that usually means that there's going to be damaging winds. Also, down here into Arkansas and into northern Louisiana, there will likely be embedded areas of rotation in this line of storms, so I wouldn't rule out those short line, QLCS tornadoes there. And then going into around 9 p.m. here, we're going to see not very strong storms going into St. Louis. I think south of St. Louis is where we'll see the strongest storms. So again, damaging winds, hail, and a brief spin-up tornado will be my biggest concerns for this severe weather event. I may go live for this, as I am now able, if you didn't hear, I did a community post, but I'm now able to go live here on YouTube. That was re-enabled by YouTube. I appreciate the support from YouTube a lot. The YouTube support helped me a lot, helped me out a lot with that. Sorry, I can't talk right now. But anyways, I may go live for this. It just depends. But yeah, that is a possibility. It depends how significant it is. But as we go into 10 p.m., the storms again go through St. Louis, are going through or about to go through West Memphis as well as Memphis. So again, damaging winds, hail, and a brief spin-up tornado are the biggest threats there. Make sure you are prepared for that. I think Saturday is going to be a bigger day than tomorrow is. Do I think an enhanced risk? It could be upgraded to enhanced risk. I definitely do think that is a possibility. Sorry about that. Especially down here into Arkansas, southern Missouri, and into northern Louisiana. That would be my prediction. But of course, the Storm Prediction Center is in charge of that, and they are experts, so they know a lot more than me, like I said earlier. So this is the tornado parameter. So this shows the brighter the colors here, the more significant the colors, so purples all the way up to reds, those kind of maroon colors mean that there's a more significant chance for tornadoes in a given area. So going into late on Saturday, this is around 7 p.m. and then to 8 p.m., I think our biggest tornado threat, and this is shown by the significant tornado parameter, is going to be down here near Little Rock all the way south into northern Louisiana. Now, this isn't shown to scare you. This is shown to prepare you. The odds of a tornado hitting your house are very low, but the odds of seeing maybe 1, 2, 3 tornadoes in this area look to be pretty high according to the tornado parameters. So down here in the southern Missouri through central Arkansas and northern Louisiana, that those quick spin-up tornadoes are going to be a possibility that we are going to have to watch out for. Again, damaging winds, hail, and a brief spin-up tornado, those are all going to be the biggest threats on Saturday. And again, it could get upgraded to an enhanced risk. All right, that about wraps up this more weather forecast video. Make sure you subscribe and go follow me on Twitter. Make sure you're prepared for that severe weather tomorrow on Friday into Kansas, Nebraska, and extreme northern Oklahoma, and then into Saturday across the Mid-South, Mid-Mississippi Valley, all the way into northern Louisiana. As always, stay prepared out there, and I will see you soon with more weather.